Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com, and I'm here to bring you another live paper crafting class here on YouTube. I'm so excited to be here because this is a card that was requested by 3 different people in a way. So what I mean by that is I had a request for me to use the Snowman season stamp set. I had a request for a kid's birthday card for a kid who has a birthday in the winter time or snowy time. And then I also had a request to share another one of V-Tran's Fun Fold cards that she had shared with me that I put on my blog. So I've combined them all together and I'm going to bring that to you today. I'm so excited. So I'm calling it what am I calling it? A stretch fold card. Anyways, welcome everyone, and if you are new, a big welcome to you. Thank you for joining me live. If you're not watching this at 11 a.m. Central Time on December 9th, then you are watching probably the recorded version of it. But please comment either way. We have a live comment section, and Trisha Josephs, yay, she's here. I forgot to send you some stuff, Trisha. Anyway, she's here to be my moderator. She is going to answer questions. She's going to share information, helpful tips, and places where you can go and find information along the way as you are watching live. And if you would like to message her directly, it's much easier if you tag her, and she will tag other people when she's responding. The way that you tag somebody is you basically put that @ sign, you know, the A with the circle around it, and then you start typing that person's name, and you'll be able to click on their name once you see them. And her first name starts with Tricia. So Trisha Josephs, thanks for coming in. So anyways, I forgot to I usually send her a link to this video. She found it. You guys found it too. And then I send her a sheet of the measurements, which I will share with you in just a minute. But I think she's going to be okay, hopefully. Anyways, bless her for coming again and helping me out with this. I love it. So sit back, enjoy, relax, or take out your crafting stuff and craft along with me if you'd like. If you participate in the live chat, then you get in on the drawing for a prize. And Trisha, I hope that you're listening on this. I actually would like to draw 2 live winners, and then I'll draw 1 winner from the after live, because we have a lot more commenters that join us during the live than afterwards, and I decided to kind of rebalance that out. So we're going to do 2 winners from the live, and then afterwards, if you're watching this within a week of me broadcasting, comment below in the video and you can probably, well, you'll get in on the drawing for the 3rd prize, I should say. Okay, and I'll share the prizes at the end. Anyways, what else do I want to mention? Oh, at 12:15, which is an hour and 15 minutes after this is over, you'll be able to go to the link that is in the description of the video, and it will be live then. The blog post will go live, and that is on my website at StampYourArtOut.com. You'll be able to find that there as well. But if you click on that link, you can access the supplies, the measurements, photos of the project that I'm going to share today, and any other pertinent information. You'll also be able to download the supply/measurement list that I'm going to share with you right now. So let me pull that up. It's so fun to see your comments rolling in. I'm jabbery though. I just talk and talk and talk, and then, you know, by the time I glance over there, there's a bunch of comments gone that I should have looked at, but I'll look at them afterwards. I promise you, I always do. Here are the measurements and supplies that you'll need to make the same card that I'm going to share with you today. So I'm calling it the Grand and Splendid Snowman Stretch Card, and that is because we're going to use the Grand Kid stamp set, we're going to use the Snowman Season stamp set, and we're going to use the Snowflake Splendor designer paper. You'll notice that there is the word retiring after 3 items in that list, and I just looked 5 minutes before I went live, and one of those items is already sold out. I'm sorry. Yes, so things are starting to leave. We are at the end of our August through December mini catalog, and so we're having what's called a closeout promotion. Many items from that holiday or August through December catalog are on sale, up to 50% off. You can find that information in my blog post also, and at the bottom, by the way. And then the things that are going to be retiring are all listed as well. So not everything is on sale, but a lot of it is, and at great deals. The Snowflake Splendor designer paper, the adhesive back snowflakes and the snowflake sequins. All of those were discounted, which means that makes sense why the adhesive back snowflakes are gone. But the other two are still available, and you could use the snowflake sequins in place of the little adhesive back ones if you want to. So let's dive into that card. Oh, let me tell you too, I've also put down the inches and the centimeter measurements for anybody who measures differently than I do. I'm going to use inches because that's what I'm very, very comfortable with. But you can see that if you use centimeters of the metric system, you can adapt it. And those cards, by the way, are a lot different in size. They're taller and narrower than the kind that I usually make. So it's not always a straight, easy to switch over type of adaptation with the measurements. So let's see here. What else do I want to share before we go live? Or before we share the card, I just want to share with you a few comments from last week. Let's see if I can move that little face image down a little bit here. Try that, because last week I think I covered them up. Sorry. But yes, it's always fun to see where you're at. So I love that when people chime in and tell me, you know, where they're from and what time of the day it is, what weather you're experiencing, what you might be cooking in your kitchen. That's always fun. It's fun to see who's really close to me, like Joanne Peterson is in Coon Rapids, and then who's really far away from me, like, and I'm not sure if I'll say this right, but Stempel Puritan Yessi? I don't know if I said that right or not. Anyways, she's on the German Baltic coast, so very far away. Sue, I wrote your name, or I copied your comment down here because you were actually the winner from last week, but I have not heard from you yet. So if you're live today or if you're watching the after live, get back to me. This is you. Everyone was like, Sue who? It's just Sue. Sue is all she has for her YouTube/Google account. So please contact me, Sue, if that's you. Also, we had some helpful hints, or helpful tips, I should say, from Catherine and Penny and Marnie. A lot of you talked about how you could do some embossing without burning your fingers. I love those tips. The little clothespins from Paper Pumpkin Kits, awesome. And then Diana, I do that once in a while too. Yes, just throw the die on the table and all the pieces fall out. It's amazing, but I don't always do that in a live, or I wouldn't do that in a live, I guess. And then Diana also asked a question, and this was a great question. We did a card last week that was called the split circle card. And it doesn't work to layer your circle dies within each other when you cut to save on glimmer paper. The way that they line up, it will not work. So unfortunately, no is the answer to your question. And then the other comments at the end. I had a lot of mess ups last week. It was not pretty. You guys laughed along with me though, and I really, really appreciated that. Okay, I think that we are set to go. So I'm going to bring you now to my desktop. Hang on. There we go. I'm back. Oh, and I'm really, really short, so let's adjust that again. There, now I'm back in the picture. What are we going to use today? We're going to use the Snowman Season stamp set. This was the requested one, and isn't it cute? It actually coordinates with our Snowman Builder Punch. This image right here, you can punch out with the Snowman Builder Punch. I'm not using the punch today, but you can access that in the online store. And it also punches out the little arm guys there and the hat. So it's an awesome punch. And then we're going to combine it. We're going to pair it with the stamp set called A Grandkid. And I don't have grandkids yet, although I'm old enough to, but I started my family later in life. Anyways, my kids are just 14 and 15, or almost 14, and then 15 years old. But I'm ready. There's a few images in here that I would need to use if I was a grandparent, but many of them you can use even if you aren't a grandparent. So you can see it's a very versatile, fun birthday sentiment set. And we're going to use two of my favorites, or three of my favorites that are in there. I love to use those three together. But let's go ahead and introduce you to the designer paper. The designer paper, which is still available, is called Snowflake Splendor. And as I've shown in the past one or two videos, because I've used this paper a lot, I do not have the 6th sheet. When I got this pack of paper, I went through it mad, like with one of those patterns. It was just, I had to use that pattern. So it's not here, but you'll be able to see it in the online store with the link. Anyways, here is the one side of the paper set, and you can see I don't even have the 12 by 12s left over anymore. These are the largest pieces I have of my remaining 5 patterns. So there you go. There's the other side. Very pretty. Lots of different blues, lots of snowflakes, lots of wash images. This actually looks kind of frosty, like frosted windows, and just pretty patterns. So let's set those off to the side. And one more thing I want to point out is this is the holiday, or the August through December catalog. We don't call it the holiday anymore. Sorry about that. The August through December 2020 mini catalog, and this is the catalog that is now going to be null and void, although there are a few items that are carrying over. So this is the list that you can print off. You can see I've marked mine up. I have well, in this direction you can see the marks. So I went through my catalog, and I did the same thing a few other demonstrators out there are doing, where I took and put down the word retiring next to items that are leaving. Let me just find the Snowflake Splendor Suite here. And I also put down if there was a price change on it. Now this is the US version of the catalog, so if you're in a different area where they sell Stampin' Up! Products, you'll have, of course, different prices. But in the US, this paper normally is $11.50 for the pack, and it's going to be 20% off now until it's gone, and that's $9.20. And then I'm also going to be using the, and I don't think they're shown on these pages. Oh, probably because they're with another area of the catalog. But I'm also going to use a couple other items that are leaving. You can see some of the items are staying. So I put a star next to items that are staying. And then anything that's going to go dormant, which means it's going to go to sleep for a while. And then it will come back in next year's July through December catalog. Those are indicated with a little Z. So when you're looking at the lists, and you can again download them from my website, or your demonstrator has access to them as well. But there's a list of things that are leaving, some are discounted, and then there's what's called the carryover list, and it's divided into 2 parts. If your demonstrator or the list that you find only has like half of these items, look below, because there's actually 2 tabs on the Excel sheet to show that there's 2 different sets of carryovers. Some of those items, like these up here, are going to just continue to be available, and then some of them are going to go to sleep or go dormant until next fall, or next, I should say next July. It's not really fall. Okay, we're gonna move off to the side here with those items, and we're gonna bring in the trimmer because it's time to start. Here we go. This is Pacific Point cardstock, and it is a nice bright blue. It's one of the colors that is in the pack of designer paper, so it's going to coordinate with the card that I make. Normally I tell you to cut your cardstock in half, but for this card we're going to cut it a little bit different, and I'm going to pull up my measurements again so I can follow along. I don't want to cut wrong or score wrong. So we're going to cut at 5.5 inches in this direction. We're going to have a narrow section, and we're going to have a wide section, because we need that whole long piece with some folds in it to make this stretch card. This piece we're just going to cut a strip from, and I'm using this side of my trimmer now to go to the 1.25 inch mark. So I'm going to bring it right up to here. It's just easier for me if I can hold on to it, and on this side of the trimmer you don't have as much space to hold on to when you're doing those narrower cuts. So we put that down and hold the arm straight, and we're going to cut a strip. With the A4 size cardstock, you don't have to cut your strip that entire length. I did indicate that in the measurements that it can be the entire length of that cardstock, but you can actually trim off a bit because yours is going to be extra long, or longer than mine, I should say. Then we need a piece of Whisper White, and this Whisper White measures 2.5 by 5.25. It's going to be one of the layers on the inside of the card. Another piece of designer paper, so we're going to have 3 different patterns, is going to be the same size as the Whisper White, so 2.5 by 5 1/4. And then you'll need your 2 other patterns, and one of those is 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/4, and you can see they're all the same height, right? And then you need 2 more narrow strips, and these narrow strips, make sure I tell you correctly here, measure 1 1/8 inches wide, okay? So those are our pieces, and they actually go into our card like that. Hence the reason we need the big long piece. So now it's time to make some score lines. We're going to score this piece, and we're going to score it at 1 3/8. So I'm going up to the, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see these measurements closer. So 1 3/8 is right here. It's kind of before the 1.5 mark. We're going to use our scoring blade, move that cutting blade out of the way. So many times I don't have it pushed out of the way, and I start slicing, and I'm like, oh, have to use that cardstock for something else. Okay, and then we're going to move to the 4 1/8 inch mark. And then we're going to open up the arm on our trim, or on our paper trimmer, and we're going to do one more score mark at 6 7/8. So right here. Okay. All right, and now we'll move our trimmer out of the way because we don't need that anymore. The other pieces that you'll be using will be a scrap of Whisper White and a scrap of pumpkin pie, or any orange that you want to use, really. Okay, so let's start folding this. And I'm going to move I'm just shoving something out of the way so I can see comments again if I happen to glance over. So we're going to do kind of beyond a Z fold. We're going to do like a fan fold. So it's going to fold like this. So this piece folds up and over. It's going to show up in the front of your card. Then you're going to go the opposite direction for the next fold. And then you're going to go in the opposite direction for the next fold. So it's like an accordion type card. I'm calling it a stretch because, I don't know, you can display it like this. It can be on display on your mantle, on your table, whatever. This is the card that V. Tran made. So it looks like this. It's got a belly band that slides off. We had a little damage when it came through the mail. You can see that. Ouch, right? So there's a hole in that, but ignore the hole. So when you open it up, you can see that there's a narrow piece of designer paper here and here. Then when you open this section up, there's where the note can go, or the stamping for the sentiments and stuff. You don't necessarily have to put anything on these back layers because they are not seen when a person opens the card. It's just this back portion of the front flap, okay? And then there's a belly band on it, and that just slides over the card to hold it in place. So let's start decorating. I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus adhesive this time. This is our stronger of the 2 seals. It's up to you which one you want to do, but I think with the belly band, it's just because it's a stronger adhesive. Anytime you have something that's going to have a little bit more pull or resistance to it, you know, a chance that it might fall apart, then you want to use a stronger adhesive like this. Or I also use the tear and tape adhesive. I think is excellent for 3D projects. You could also use the glue, the multi-purpose liquid glue. Beautiful, both sides, right? Some of you are like, use that side, use that side. But I actually have another sample with that paper in it, and I'll show that to you in a minute. I know it goes so well with this color. This is more of a light Night of Navy color. So there's Night of Navy in there, there's Pacific Point, there's Balmy Blue. Oh gosh, I don't even have the list in front of me, but there's so many different blues in this paper. This one is going to go on the second panel. I think I want the purple at the top. I don't know why. And then these little guys, they actually go together like that. I cut them at the same time. So I'm going to put them, I don't know why, I just had this, I don't know if it's a obsessive type of thing, but I'm going to put them so that when you open up the card, you see the continuous flow of the pattern. That's just me. I'm weird. So there's that. Okay, and then we need to add our inside panel, but before we do that, before you add something that you're going to stamp on, you want to stamp first. That way, in case there's a mistake of any type, you can flip it over, right? Us stampers that have been doing this for a while know that. So I'm using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I just choose this. This is my black, my go-to black, the one that I use all the time. You can use it with the Stampin' Blends markers, which actually that's what's recommended for the Stampin' Blends markers, but you can also use it with the Stampin' Write, as long as you're not doing a lot of light color markers or watercoloring or stuff like that, because these are both water-based. And so if you go over your outline, especially if it's like a thick outline, you can accidentally draw in some of that black outline into where you're coloring. On the sample card that I have on my blog post, I did use the Stampin' Write markers. On the one that I'm going to do today, I'll use these. But again, you'll notice in the photos that this didn't affect it because I was careful where I colored in. This one has a little bit more control than this black, and we're going to be doing some drawing with the black marker. The orange or the pumpkin pie, we're just going to color in, but these we're going to actually do a little bit of artistry. So it's easy stuff though, I promise you. So in this case, I would prefer to use the Stampin' Write marker, but I am going to use the bullet end of this marker for that. So let's set those aside. Now that you know why I listed either or on there, you'll know why I did that. Okay, so you can use either one. Tuxedo Black, when you store it, you'll notice the pad is sitting upright like this. And when I pulled it into the camera, did you see how I had it upside down? I store my ink pads so that they sit upside down. With an ink pad, like the Stampin' Up! Classic pads, the pad is already stored upside down. So I can put it into my shelves, you know, in this direction, because if you look, you can see there's the pad. It is stored upside down. So, and why do we do that? Because you have ink on the pad and you get it a juicier color if you let the ink come to the top. So we're gonna go ahead now and start stamping, and I'm remembering because I'm not doing two different versions of the card today. I try to share too much sometimes. So it's gonna go vertically, and we're gonna put our paper on top of the Stampin' Pierce mat. This one I set aside for no holes. Another one I have for poking into when I'm gonna pierce holes in paper or whatever. But this is a photopolymer stamp, and it's totally see-through, so I can see where my images are. I can see that I've inked it fully, but because there's no foam between the actual rubber part of the stamp and the block, it's good to have a foam mat underneath, like our Stampin' Pierce mat. So we're gonna ink it up. We're gonna set it down here on the bottom. I love this image. This is probably my favorite image in the whole set. He's just having so much fun down there, that little guy, and he's so cute and round. So just press evenly and lift up, and you've got your image done. Let's set that over here. We're going to do two other images on the inside. So we're going to do a sentiment from the Grand Kids stamp set, and we're going to do another one from it underneath. So I'm just going to pull this a little closer to me. It's easier to see. Okay, so I actually mounted this one because my sticker is a bit crooked. I mounted it on my block, and I'll show you in a minute here, so that it's straight up and down. So I can look at the edges of my block to give me a hint. Okay, my sticker is slightly off. You all, well, some of you taught me a little trick. This one I don't have to worry about because I mounted it correctly. But you taught me a little trick that I had not heard about, and I'm going to share that with you today. So let me grab a block because I forgot to grab one. And there are some stamps that I have not put together fully yet, and I am excited to try this. I did it a couple times without without being live. But so this is my third time trying this, and it works really well. So you're going to take your sticker. So this is just another way of mounting your stamps. You see how they have a little split in the back? So I've been showing how to take half of it off, and then you put your stamp down onto it with half of it exposed so that you can line up and only mess up one half. And then you take it off of there and you peel up the other half. Yeah, so you can go back to either last week or the week before. But this was a great idea that was shared, and I just want to share that too. You lift up the whole sticker. So the label and the backing parts, lift the whole thing up and off. So you can see there's a few that I haven't put together fully yet. I just have them separated. And then you stick that sticker onto a block. This is so cool, you guys. Then you need a tool. You need a tool. That was probably the hardest part for me, was just to get underneath to peel off the backings, okay? Because you don't want to mess up your sticker. So you just need a pokey tool. This is our take your pick tool. So you take that off, and now you can see the stickers on there. And if you put your stamp on your table and you go straight down onto it, you're going to pick up the stamp in the right place. And again, I have to pull this a little closer to me. And I'm going to put on my reading glasses. Hang on. Oh, okay. We're lining it up. I'm hoping I'm not coming straight down on top of it because my head would be like right in the camera. But it's close, right? I did a good job. And then with all cling stamps, you have to get your fingernail underneath one edge in order to peel it off. Even when you're just using them, you know, over and over again, just get your fingernail under there. Or some people actually take, and this is another tip that I've seen and I've used, they take like a piece of tape and they just make a little tab, and it's usually smaller than this, but you make a little tab on one end, okay? And then what you can do, I probably shouldn't have done that, but what you do is you've got a tab where you can lift off that stamp, okay? I'm gonna peel that off because I don't like it. If I can peel it off. There we go. So that's another trick, because you don't want to rip the label off your stamp. Okay, here's our little guy. And the next thing we want to do with him is color his nose. And you can certainly color more than that, but on mine, all I did was color his nose. And this is our blends. You could use the light and the dark, but I'm using the dark only Pumpkin Pie Blends marker. By the way, there are some blends markers that are in the clearance rack. There's a clearance rack too, yes. So if you go to my blog and you click the shop button, you will be taken to the online store where you can see all the things that are on closeout from that catalog. But there's also a clearance rack that just got updated yesterday, which means there's a bunch of things that Stampin' Up! Had sitting around that hadn't sold out when it retired earlier. They threw them into the online store. Blends markers. I don't want you to freak out. Those are not retiring. It's just that the single sets of markers are no longer sold that way. We sell them in combo packs now. So what they were doing was they were getting rid of their inventory of the single blends, if that makes sense. So if you're in need of single Stampin' Blends markers, I think it was $1.80. Now I don't know if they're still there or not, but I'm just saying that's what I nabbed up, is a few single markers yesterday. Here's our little guy. He is ready. And, oh, I'm going to keep this up because I'm also going to stamp on this. So we're going to stamp, and actually I don't need it for the cling mount stamps. You don't need to have, because you can see there's foam between the rubber. Ooh, that's really close. Between the rubber and the block, there's that foam in there already. So that's the reason you don't need to have it for the cling mount. Grab our ink again, and we'll ink up this image. This is, see now, this one makes me laugh. So smart, so fun, so sweet, and so wonderful. We must be related. I think that's so funny. It makes me laugh really hard. And then we have two other stamps that we're going to be using from the Snowman season. So we're going to do some punch art for this card. We're turning our punch upside down, and we're going to punch this out with a big, huge circle. This is our 2 1/4 inch circle punch. I'm going to close it up again and lock it. And that's how you store them. So let's now take and unlock this one. Unlocking, just like that. And we're just going to punch out a white circle. This is the one where we're going to do a little bit of artwork. And it's easy, I promise. Okay, so for this artwork, you're going to take that black marker and we're going to draw a little dot, a 1/4 inch, about a 1/4 inch away from one of the edges. This is going to indicate the top of your circle. And it does not have to be a perfect dot, okay? In fact, if it's not perfect, it's actually better. And then we're going to do another dot, a little bit smaller, about a 1/4 inch from it, going away on that side and going away on this side. And then one tiny dot right up towards the edge. Okay, so that's the way it looks up close. Now we're going to bring in our pumpkin pie cardstock, and I've already punched out a portion of that paper with the daisy punch. We have a small daisy punch, or it's called medium, sorry, a medium daisy punch, and then we have the daisy punch. I recommend the daisy one because I think it's going to be a better size for it. So here's some pieces. You need your paper snips for this, sorry, your scissors. Here's a section that I'd already punched out, and I'm just going to take and I'm going to cut into the middle of the flower section like that. So I'm forming a carrot. Now if you can hand cut a carrot, you can do that too. This is called punch art, where we use our punches to make different shapes, but you could totally freehand this if you feel confident. This is where you need a really, really thin amount of ink from your marker. I'm going to attempt this on this one here just to see, because I have not done it with the blends yet. But we have a fine tip at the end. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the bullet tip because my fine tip on my black is a little bit messed up. So let's see if we can do it this way. Okay, it's going to be good enough. So you're going to come in from the left and the right of the carrot. The carrot is going to face upward, and we're going to start at the top and just kind of make a little etched line coming in from the sides, going down the carrot like that. Okay, and you can get more detailed if you want, but that's just a fun way that I like to make my carrots. I don't know why. We're going to grab a glue dot. Remember my glue dots from last week? If there was anything else that was going to happen, it was going to be my glue dots getting messed up, right? Remember, I had a pack where the glue dots were actually on this strip that you pull away instead of on the roll. I called Stampin' Up! Though. They were very good about it. They replaced my pack of glue dots. So that was quite funny. Not. I can laugh about it now. So we're going to take the carrot and we're going to point it upwards, and then we're going to take the top of our circle and we're going to stick it onto our carrot like that. So what we have is a snowman's head that is looking up, kind of like this guy here. We didn't do the cheeks, but I wanted the nose, I wanted that head to be even further tilted back, so you wouldn't really be seeing the cheeks, only the nice big smile. So let's mount this to the card. On the inside. And then what we need to do is close it up. You could insert like a dollar bill or something in there. And then we're going to take our strip of cardstock. To make a belly band, the easiest way I know how is to do it without any scores. Just start wrapping, because you can have an issue with if you're off like by a 1/16 of an inch or something, or a 32nd of an inch. So you just fold one end in, and then you fold the other end in, and then you can take it off. You can grab that bone folder again, which is sitting right in front of my face, straighten out your fold so that everything lines up. Give it a good crease. Straighten up your folds, give it a good crease. And now we don't have that weird edging on there. And then you can take and put these back on, and you want it to be firm. You want your belly band on a card like this to be firm. On a box or something that doesn't give or bend a lot, you can have a looser belly band, but on a card you want it to be nice and firm, especially on one like this because it's got the, it's got the ability to kind of pry open anyways. You can see that. So don't make it too loose. Don't make it loose at all. We're going to overlap, and it doesn't matter which one goes over which because this is the back, but make sure that they're lined up. And this is our belly band. And you can see how I'm kind of pushing the card a little bit together on the edges to slide off and on my belly band. Oops. Oh, come on. Don't have the mishaps like last week. So you can slide it off and on like that by having just a little bit of a curve. Okay, we're going to pull it back down, and we're going to add this guy, and I would recommend putting him on with glue dots because you only want adhesive right at the very bottom of his head. This is going to go on here, so it's centered in the middle, and it's somewhat sticking out from the top of the belly band. And then this is going to be the body of the snowman. Can you see that now, how he's coming together? But we want to stamp the arms before we stick this down. So we're going to bring in the stamp pad for one last time. And the arms are different. They, but you could use just one if you want to, or you're being lazy and you don't want to clean off a stamp before you use your block again. Let's say you don't have as many blocks or whatever. But they are different, so just know that. I stamped my arms about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. So if you're using the same size cardstock and the same, you're doing inches measurement, you really don't have to worry about having this sitting on here and then eyeballing it. Just know that it's about 1/4 of an inch. And sorry for you metric users, I did not write that measurement down for you. I'm sorry. The last step on this part, and then we just have the embellishments, is just to add, oh yeah, and I put the dimensionals here, is just to add the circle on the front of the belly band. So we're using dimensionals. They're little foam dots that give a little bit of a lift. And you'll see some shadow separating the bottom circle from the top circle. And yes, this is not a 3-circle snowman. He's just a 2-circle one. But still cute. I think that's all I ever had energy for as a kid anyways, was to just stack 2 circles on top of each other outside. I do not, you know what, I grew up in Minnesota and moved away for 4 years and came back to Minnesota because I missed my family. Not only that, but I missed the seasons. I was in a place where it was warm a lot, and I thought I was going to be like in heaven living there. But I really missed the changing seasons, despite the fact that I'm always cold. Even in the summer, I wear a turtleneck. I'm crazy. Okay, so we're going to add some of these snowflake, they're adhesive back, sticker snowflake guys, but they're gone now. Sorry, everybody. But you could use these. These snowflake sequins are about the same size, and you can take and glue them into place if you want to. Let's take and do one more on the front here, and then we'll do, see, isn't that fun? And then we'll do a couple on the inside because this guy is juggling snowballs. Did you notice that? So I have just enough here. So we have one there, and we have one here, and now he's juggling all those little snowflakes and snowballs up in the air. We're going to close it back up, and I'm going to show you the metric size, or the A4 size version that I did. So I always try to coordinate what I wear with what I'm showing. I know this is a lighter blue, but I try to look like I was in the snow. I have my scarf on. All right, this is the metric size, and you can see the difference in the envelopes. Okay, there's a difference. So with this card, I just did my pattern papers a little bit differently. So you can see different layers. You can see the 2 other layers that some of you are probably rooting for, like, oh, show those. So here's this one. And when you open it up, snowflakes fall out. Isn't that fun? So wouldn't a kid like to open a card that has bursting snowflakes? And you could definitely put more snowflakes in there if you wanted to, but I just didn't know how it was gonna, what it was gonna do on live video. Let me zoom out a bit here. So we've got these fun little snowflake pieces. These are the sequins. Money probably would be better, but snowflakes falling out is always fun too. And here is the inside of this one. So we'll put them all out here so you can see them all. And we'll zoom out even more. So those are the two different patterns that I put together. Two different size cards. Isn't that fun? I love this little guy. He's so cute. Okay. So again, clearance rack, closeouts, make sure that you're paying attention to that. I'm going to show you some prizes that we're going to draw for. What else do I want to mention about this? Yes, at 12:15, so in about 30 minutes, you can go to my blog post. Again, the link is in the directions of this video, or the description of the video. So let me pull in the prizes that we're going to draw for, and we're going to do two winners today. I hope that's okay with you, Trisha. Again, I forgot to connect with her beforehand for so many different things, and this decision. Sorry, Trisha. All right, so let me show you the prizes that we are drawing for. So each person is going to get a container of the snowflake sequins, two containers of the snowflake sequins, and a few of the stickers that are now gone. And there's actually two different sheets of them. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like one that's more on a clear side and one that's more opaque. So you're gonna get lots of little stickers. And then the prize winners from last week, well, Sue was the only prize winner so far from last week, but I drew a couple other names from our 67 commenters. Thank you to those of you that commented in the video afterwards. Those two winners are going to get the tear and tape adhesive and some of the the self-adhesive back sequins, the Artistry Bloom ones. So these two people, when we go over to the computer, you'll be able to see who they are. Drum roll. John Smith and Dee Ripe, I believe is how you say your name. And congratulations to both of you. Thank you for your sweet comments. And you get to have those prizes. Be sure that you email me. You can see I've got my email written up here. And Trisha also, she's so good about this. She has also listed my email in the comments. So if you are watching live, you can contact me right away. And then our prize winner from, let's make sure we're coming back here. Our prize winner for today, and actually two winners, right? So I hope I gave her some time here. I'm gonna scroll and see if Trisha has announced a winner yet. She's probably announcing it right now. Oh, I see it now. There's like this 30-second delay. So two winners. Thank you so much, Trisha. So our winners are Sandy Armstrong and Cindy Wagner. Congratulations to both of you. You won the containers of sequins and the stickers. And so contact me via email, and that way I can get your address so I can mail those out to you. If you do live outside the US, I have other options. So don't worry about it. Even if you live outside the US, you can be a winner. Next week, we're getting closer and closer to Christmas, and my family celebrates Christmas. So the next week I am going to go live, but the week after I'm not. And so next week, join me for my last live before Christmas time. And it's not a Christmas related idea, although you could apply it to that if you're in need of a last minute idea and you have stuff on hand. But at this point, if you haven't gotten any of your Christmas project products or things like that, you probably want to order today. The mail is behind. It's a different world right now, and so We are all mailing and shipping things off to our loved ones, and bless the hearts of those people who are working for those services, the USPS, the UPS, FedEx, all those places outside the US that also deliver. Bless you all for working overtime and getting our Christmas cards out in the mail and our packages to our loved ones. It's crazy. So I recommend ordering as soon as possible if you have any desire to get products before Christmas. And I can't even guarantee that it would arrive by then anyways. But so next week's idea, you could apply to an idea if you need something for Christmas, but it's going to be a 3D project. I got the idea from my friend Vicki Spicer, and I'm going to do a different variation of it and show hers. And then we're going to take the following week off. After that, we'll be back between Christmas and New Year's for another December live. So on that note, I will see you on December 16th at 11 a.m. Central Time. Make sure that you are clicking that thumbs up button and click like to subscribe to my blog. Make sure you have your notifications set on to all so that you can get notifications of when I go live. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I rarely go on that side of of YouTube. Tell me if I'm wrong. And I think that we shared everything, didn't we? We got the measurements. Yep, we got it all. So on that note, I will bid you all adieu. I hope that you have a fun week, and we will see you in 7 days. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.